Good morning, students. So today we are starting our next chapter, that is human health and diseases. So first we will discuss about all these different types of diseases, their causative agents, the infection by these agents, and the symptoms which are produced in the human body. So usually what happens? Sometimes the functioning of our body system or our organ system, it gets affected, and due to which our body system or organ system, it does not function in a proper way, and this improper functioning of our body system or organ system, it is shown by production of some symptoms and signs. And when symptoms are produced in our body, at that time we are suffering from some disease. That means we are not healthy, and if we are not healthy, that means we are suffering from one or the other type of diseases. Now this state of disease is the feeling of unwellness. Unwellness means that we are not feeling well, either socially, mentally or physically. So these diseases, they are basically of two different types. The one is known as, that is, infectious diseases, and the other is known as the non-infectious diseases. Non-infectious diseases. Now, what are these infectious diseases? Infectious diseases are those diseases which gets transmitted from an infected person to non-infected person. That is, from one organism to another organism. Usually, all of us suffers from such type of diseases in our lifespan. They includes the diseases like the common cold, which is the most infectious disease, the typhoid, pneumonia. All these are infectious diseases, including the TB, that is tuberculosis, our AIDS, it is also an infectious disease. So these infectious diseases, they are usually caused by certain microbes or pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, the protozoans, helminths, viruses, and all these. And out of these diseases, the AIDS, it is most dangerous and fatal disease. It is a fatal disease that can cause the death of a patient. So the infectious diseases are those diseases which gets transmitted from one organism to another organism, that is from infected person to non-infected person. Every one of us suffers from these diseases during our lifespan. These diseases includes the diseases like common cold, typhoid, pneumonia, malaria, AIDS, TB, cholera, all these. And they are usually caused by certain pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, the helminths, viruses, and protozoans. Now, the second type of disease is our non-infectious diseases. These non-infectious diseases do not get transmitted from infected person to non-infected person. That means they are only confined to the patient only. They are only confined to patient, and they do not spread from infected person to non-infected person. So they are usually caused by some internal factors, and they usually directly or indirectly interferes with the functioning of our body system or organ system. These non-infectious diseases includes the diseases like cancer and drug or alcohol abuse. Drug or alcohol abuse. So after this, we will discuss the different agents which are responsible for causing diseases in human beings. So usually we have two different types of diseases we have already discussed, that is the infectious and non-infectious. And now we will discuss the agents of diseases. Agents of diseases. So these diseases are usually caused by microbes. They are caused by microbes. And these microbes includes the microbes like bacteria, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, helminths, viruses, etc. So all these microbes which are responsible for causing disease, they are known as pathogens. They are known as pathogens, or they are known as the agents of diseases. Now these pathogens, they enters in human body, they enters in our body or human body, and then they get adapted to the different environments of our body. After adapting themselves, these pathogens, they undergoes rapid multiplication. They undergoes rapid multiplication, and after multiplying in a sufficient or adequate number, then they interferes with the functioning of our body system or the organ system, and then results into the production of signs and symptoms, and causes the different pathogenic diseases such as the malaria, the typhoid, the pneumonia, the common cold, the tuberculosis, cholera, and all things. So these pathogens, they enters in human body somehow, then they get adapted to different environments of our body, and then they undergoes rapid multiplication. After multiplying in sufficient number, they interferes with the functioning of our body system or organ system, and then results into the production of different symptoms or signs. And when these symptoms and signs are produced, that means we are suffering from some or the other type of disease. So now we will discuss each of these diseases in details. We will discuss their causative agent, the infection caused by that causative agent, their treatment, their diagnosis, and all these. So first we will discuss the first disease, that is typhoid. So the causative agent, this typhoid, it is caused by a rod-shaped bacterium. It is caused by a rod-shaped bacterium, that is Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. So this typhoid, it is caused by a rod-shaped bacterium, that is Salmonella typhi. So it is the causative agent of our typhoid. Next, the infection. How this bacteria infects human body. So this bacterium enters in whole human body due to food that is contaminated. That is contaminated by this bacteria. So the bacterium Salmonella typhi, it enters in human body along with the food that is contaminated by this bacterium, and after entering in human body, this bacterium, it reaches to our small intestine. And in small intestine, the incubation period for this bacterium, in our small intestine is 10 to 14 days. So during this incubation time period, this bacterium undergoes rapid multiplication. And it increases its number. After increasing its number in adequate amount, then this bacterium, it penetrates through epithelial lining of small intestine, and then it moves to, or then it reaches to our lymphoid organs, spleen, gallbladder, liver, and blood. So first this bacterium, this bacterium after entering in our body, it reaches to the small intestine. In small intestine, its incubation time period is 10 to 14 days. During this time period, the bacterium colonizes itself into the small intestine and then penetrates through epithelial lining of a small intestine and gets spread to our lymphoid organs such as liver, spleen, gallbladder and into the blood. Now, when this bacterium penetrates epithelial lining of small intestine, at that time the bacterium causes lesions which are known as the wounds. These lesions in the epithelial lining, and due to which the symptoms arises. So the symptoms of this typhoid disease includes, while this bacterium penetrating our epithelial lining of small intestine, it causes lesions, and these lesions are the type of wounds. So when these lesions are caused, the symptoms arises. So the symptoms of this disease includes, that is fever, headache, abdominal pain, along with this the constipation, that is improper movement of bowel, the loss of appetite. Loss of appetite means the no feeling of hunger. Then internal bleeding, or even we can say the perforation. Diarrhea is also a symptom of this typhoid disease. Along with this, the enlargement of spleen and liver occurs, and inflammation of ileum and colon occurs. So these are some symptoms of typhoid disease, that is fever, headache, abdominal pain, constipation, that is improper bowel movement, loss of appetite, that is feeling of no hunger, internal bleeding or perforation, diarrhea, enlargement of spleen and liver, and inflammation of ileum and colon. Now, if we talk about the preventive measures of this disease, then this disease, it can be prevented. Prevention, that is. So, this disease can be prevented by proper community sanitation, and by screening of food and water. Screening of food and water. Screening of food and water being contaminated by flies. So we can prevent this disease by proper community sanitation and by preventing our food and water so that they cannot be contaminated by the house flies. Further, this disease can be diagnosed, that is diagnosis, with the help of Vidal test. This disease is diagnosed with the help of Vidal test, and this Vidal test, it is carried out with the help of cultures of sputum, urine and blood. So all these are used for the culturing process, that is either sputum, urine or blood, and it is diagnosed with the help of Vidal test in our labs. The treatment of this disease. Usually this disease is treated with the help of certain antibiotics. The antibiotics includes, that is ampicillin, trimethoprim, ceftriaxone. So these are certain antibiotics which are used for the treatment of typhoid disease. Now, we will discuss our second disease, that is pneumonia. So this pneumonia, it is caused by a gram-positive bacterium. It is caused by a gram-positive bacterium, that is Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is also known as pneumococcus. And this disease, it is also caused by Haemophilus influenzae. This disease, it is also caused by Haemophilus influenzae or Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is also known as pneumococcus. Now further, this bacterium, it enters in whole human body, that is infection. How this bacterium infects the human body? So this bacterium enters in human body. It enters in human body by inhalation. By inhalation of either droplets or aerosols, which are released by infected person, in atmosphere. So this bacterium, it enters in human body by the inhalation of aerosols or droplets which are released by infected person in environment or atmosphere. Or it can also enter human body by hand to hand contact, or by sharing of utensils with infected person. So this bacterium enters in human body either inhalation of aerosols or droplets which are released by infected person, or through hand-to-hand contact, or by sharing of utensils with infected person. Now, once this bacterium enters in human body, it reaches to upper respiratory system, where it undergoes again rapid multiplication. And this bacterium, it multiplies in our alveolar spaces. So this bacterium, it multiplies in alveolar spaces, and after its multiplication in our alveolar spaces, this bacterium, it is responsible for releasing a toxin. So in alveolar spaces, this bacterium, it releases a toxin, and this toxin is known as pneumolysin. This pneumolysin, it is responsible for destroying host cell. It is responsible for destroying host cells in our upper respiratory system, due to which when these host cells are destroyed, our alveoli, they get filled with blood cells and some fluid. And this filling of alveoli with blood cells or fluid, it results in respiratory problems. When this respiratory problems arises, then arises the symptoms of this disease. So now we will discuss the symptoms of pneumonia. So the first symptom of pneumonia is fever, headache again, cough, nausea, vomiting. So these are the general symptoms of pneumonia, that is fever, headache, cough, nausea, vomiting. It also results in chest pain with chills, and respiratory problems. Now, in severe conditions, the color of nails and lips becomes blue or grey. Blue or grey. Further, our sputum may be in rusty or bloody in color. Bloody in color. So these are the symptoms of pneumonia, that is fever, headache, cough, nausea, vomiting, the respiratory problems, chest pain with chills. This is the characteristic feature of pneumonia. It causes chest pain with chills. The color, if the condition is more severe, then the color of nails and lips becomes blue or grey, and our sputum color becomes rusty or it is bloody in color. Further, the incubation time period. Incubation time period for this bacterium is 1 to 3 days. 1 to 3 days in case of human pigs. And this disease pneumonia, it can be treated with the help of certain antibiotics. It can be treated with the help of certain antibiotics. These antibiotics includes the penicillin G, the erythromycin, tetracycline, ceftriaxone, and sulfamethoxazole and all these. So this pneumonia, it can also be treated with the help of certain antibiotics, that is penicillin G, erythromycin, tetracycline and ceftriaxone. Now we'll discuss our third infectious disease, that is common cold. So this common cold, it is a viral disease. It is a viral disease which is also known as the nasopharyngitis, or it is also known as rhinopharyngitis, and it is a viral disease that is caused by rhinovirus. It is caused by rhinovirus. And this common cold, it is the most infectious disease. Every one of us suffers from this disease. So it is the most infectious disease whose incubation time period is near about 1 to 7 days. Its incubation time period is 1 to 7 days. And it is a disease of our neck region, you can say, or nose, neck or nose, including the upper respiratory system. So it is a disease of nose and upper respiratory system. And this rhinovirus, it enters in human body through the inhalation of the aerosols or droplets which are released during sneezing or coughing of the infected person. So this rhinovirus, it enters in human body through inhalation of aerosols or droplets which are released by the infected person during sneezing or coughing. And now we will discuss the symptoms of this disease. So the symptoms of this disease includes that is light fever, headache, nasal discharge, sore throat, tiredness, and all this. So the symptoms of this disease include, that is, it may cause light fever, the headache, discharge, the sore throat, tiredness, cough sometimes. Okay. So all these are the symptoms of the common cold. And this common cold, it can be prevented. It can be prevented because it is a viral disease. So it can be prevented by washing hands. By washing hands. By virucidal soaps. Virucidal soaps. These virucidal soaps, they kill viruses. So they prevent us from the common cold. So preventive measures, washing hands by virucidal soaps, and this disease, it can also be treated. So its treatment includes some antihistamines, certain antibiotics, and some drinking fluids. So with the help of all these, this disease can be treated. So this common cold, it is a most infectious disease. It is also known as rhinopharyngitis or nasopharyngitis. It is caused by rhinovirus, and it is a disease of our nose or upper respiratory system. This rhinovirus, it enters in human body through inhalation of aerosols or droplets which are released by infected person during sneezing or coughing. Its incubation time period is 3 to 7 days or 1 to 7 days. And the preventive measures includes washing hands by virucidal soaps. The symptoms of this disease includes light fever, headache, nasal discharge, sore throat, tiredness, and cough. Further, its treatment includes the antihistamines, antibiotics, and drinking fluids. Thank you.